We have a lot of construction going on, plus a farmer's market. So I finally got my way around. Let's see. This one looks pretty good. Oh, this one is better. Okay, so we're still doing option combinations. And the one we left off on was the covered call. Let me see. This should be good. It's not very good. Let's see. That may be better. Let's call these option strategies. And these are really combinations. And most of these will be shown graphically, is the nicest way. And so that's why you should remember the graphical representation of the call and put, both the writers and the holders. So let's see what we have, where we stopped at. Okay, here's where we stopped. That we don't need. Let's look at this covered call again. And this is covered versus a naked call. In a naked call, you write a call but don't own the stock. Let's call it the asset. Well, it could be a stock, it could be a commodity. There's a lot of problems with naked calls. Let's look at this. Here we are. Let's see. Okay. Okay, let's see where we are. Right there. Nope, okay, good. Covered call. In the covered call, we have the call, and we own the asset, and we write a call. Now, why isn't it here? Okay, let's forget that covered call. We covered it already. Good. Let's do some other things. Okay, I hope everybody did well on the test. We had one problem at one site where apparently the proctor didn't have the test, but they can take it later. Okay, now another combination is the protective put. Okay. In protective put, you buy the asset, plus you purchase a put on the asset. So when you purchase a put, you're a put holder. So you not only hold the asset, but you hold a put on that asset. And the reason it's called a protective put is that it protects you from potential losses should the asset price go down. Okay. And in that way, it's a form of so-called portfolio insurance. Okay, and we're going to look at this diagrammatically like we looked at our last thing. Remember, we had the put-call parity. Oh, hey, here's where we'll do that protective cover in just a second. Okay, we had our put-call parity, and we had our covered call. Now let's look at our protective put. So let's look at this graphically. Okay. Graphically, it will look like the following. Okay. So graphically, we have the stock value well, that's not very straight. S. And this goes up at 45 degrees. Degrees. This is the stock value. And this of course assumes that the stock asset is purchased at zero cost. Which is not realistic. We'll do a realistic example in a second. $0, okay? Okay, then we have the put holder. Let's look at the put holder. Okay, and here we go from the strike price, K, and we go down at 45 degrees to a K here. Then we go across. Okay. So if the stock price is less than the exercise price, it pays us to sell that. Because then we make K minus S. Okay, and then finally, the combination, so let's put this here, put holder. And then let's look at the combination. Well, that's terrible combination. So this is the protective put. And it goes out here. We have our K. Let's go up this way too. So now we start off at K. Let's do this way. Let's start off at K here, and then we go up. The stock value is still going up, and now the put goes to 0. So now we go up at 45 degrees, and then we have to have we have to pay for that put. So this reduces it somewhat. So this is the profit, and the top line is the value. Okay, of the put. So this is unrealistic. Let's do a realistic example. Let's look at a realistic example. Example of the protective put. Great. Okay, let's look at this realistic example. Let's assume the following data. Assume that our purchase price equals $50. And let's assume that our strike price is also $50. And let's assume that the premium for a put at $50 is equal to $5. Okay, so it's 10% of the exercise price. Okay, so now let's look at this. Let's go across here. Okay, let's come down here. This will be minus 50, because we have to pay $50 for that, is the unit price of that asset. And then we have, and V goes up this way. And this is 50 again here, crosses the line. And then this is minus 50, and then we look at minus 45. Now we have to count in the option premium. We go up like this. This hits 45 here too. So this is the profit. Okay, now let's buy that put. So this is the stock or asset. Then we have our put. We have dollars again. And we look at that. And now we're going to be a put holder. Let's say buy put. The put holder. Now we'll go from 50. Let's go down here. Go from 50 down to there. This is 50 again. Then we come across here for the value. And now we want to look at the profit. Actually, our profit is negative here. Okay, and in fact, this is negative 5. Okay, now the combination looks like the following. Let's look at this combination then. Let's move this over a little bit. Okay. Now let's look at this combination. Here's finally we get our combination. Okay, so let's look at the value. Here we're going up from 50 to minus 50 to 0 at the 45-degree angle. Here we're going from plus 50. We should put that here, plus 50 to 0 at going down at a 45-degree angle. So what happens here, we're flat here for the value. Now let's look what happens. Now the value of the put to the put holder is 0 from there. But the stock is going up. So what we have here is this. This is the value. And we have minus 5. This is our OP. So this, in fact, this protective put is what it's doing is the most you can lose here is the option premium here. So it protects you from that. Okay. So that's a form of portfolio insurance, and it's a very popular form. Let's get back to the covered call, because I have it here now. Revisited. Okay. Let's see this. In the covered call, remember we said you purchase the asset and you write a call on that asset. So you hold the asset and write, which in its essence covers it, a call on it. Okay, so now let's look at what we have here, and let's look at this graphically. Because graphically is always the easiest way to see these combinations. Let's look what we have here. Now, what do we have? We have the stock, and the stock goes up. Let's draw this. Let's do this about here. The stock goes up at 45 degrees here. Okay. Now, let's look at the written call. Let's look at the call writer. Okay, and let's see what we have there. Okay. Now, let's take a point K. Let this be the strike price. As a call writer, you get 0 before K, and then your value starts going down. Because you have to sell that asset to the person at K, but it's costing, the price is S greater than K. And then you also have, now, but what you do have is before K, you get the premium for, because the call holder has to pay this premium, OC. So this is the profit. And we could simply call that pi. Okay. So see, why people were writing naked calls were just so they could just, they were hoping that the stock would not go above the strike price. If the stock doesn't go above the strike price, then you just collect the premium. But if the stock goes above the strike price, then you're in a whole lot of trouble here. Okay, and the covered call looks like the following. Now let's look at this. We're going up at 45 degrees. We're staying constant there. Let's just look at this. So now, by addition of ordinance, we're going up here to a value of K. And then we go across for a value here. And for the profit now, what do we have for the profit? Because we're collecting the premium. Goes like this. We'll just say that this is pi, the profit. Now, if you look at this combination, I think we said this the last time, looks great. In this combination, you're always making a positive profit, and the value is always greater than or equal to 0 here. But this assumes that the asset is purchased at 0 cost. Right? Because we have it here, the value going up there, which is an unrealistic assumption. Here, let's see if we can give some realistic numbers for this. Okay, let's look at a realistic example like we looked at, because we already did this, but we didn't look at a realistic example like we did on a protective put. Let's put some numbers in. So we have a realistic example of a protective put. Oh, of a covered call, excuse me. We already did the realistic example of the protective put. Okay, great. Okay. And we're going to let S0 equal $50. These data are going to be similar to the one we use for the protective put, and we'll let the strike price equal $50. So this is, we're going to write and at the money, remember we said we could be at the money or we could be over the money or less than the money. At the money call. And again, now we're going to say that the call premium is going to be equal $5. Okay. Now let's look at this graphically. And we'll look at this graphically. We'll see how this looks. Okay. Now, we'll look at the following. Graphically, we're going to get something that looks like the following. Say, this is dollars here. This is our stock price, S. Okay, so now what happens when we buy the asset at $50, we start off with minus 50 here. And then we go up to our strike price of 50 here, okay, because here it cost us in the beginning, it cost us $50, it was the unit price of that asset. So here we can call this as the asset or stock. Value here. Now, let's look at the following. Since we write the call, the call holder has to pay us the premium. So let's look at minus 45. Our profit starts at minus 45. And here we have 5 and goes up to 5. Goes along. This is the call premium equals $5. And this goes here to 55. This comes down 55. And this is the profit to the call writer. So here's where we get the value goes like this, and the profit to the call writer goes like this here. So we have something that goes right along here. Okay, so now both the losses and the gains are both bounded here. There's no unbounded thing. Whereas in if you write a naked call and you don't own the asset, then your downside losses could be unbounded. Let's say versus naked call. Where downside losses can be unbounded. Okay. Because in fact, if the stock price rises way above the strike price, then you have to buy at the stock price and give it to them at the strike price. So you're going to lose a lot of money. You're going to lose S minus K dollars. If S is greater or equal to K. So if the stock price goes up, you can lose a lot. The people who were writing naked calls were trying to hope that they would collect the call premium there. So there were a lot of people got in trouble with that. They, in effect, were betting that the market, or at least that asset, would go down in value. Okay, let's see what else we have. Okay. Good. Now, so we had a covered call, a protective put. Let's see what other combinations we can come up with. Good. Let's look at a 9. I'm going to switch to this blue pen because it seems to be a little better. Let's look at a long straddle. Okay. Okay, in a long straddle you do the following. You purchase both a call and a put on an asset, both with the same strike price, okay, and expiration T. Okay. So now we're buying both a call and a put on the asset with the same strike price and the same expiration. So this seems kind of strange. Why are we doing this? We're buying one of each. So we're going to have to pay the premiums for both of those guys. Okay, when is this used? This is used when you think that the asset price will move or change dramatically by T, but you do not know in what direction. Okay, whether it's up or down. Now, this could be because of a drug with FDA approval, or a patent case, or a merger, upcoming merger. So we'll see that the asset price is going to change dramatically, but we do not know which direction it's going to change. Okay. And that's why we would buy a call and a put. And so let's look at this graphically. Okay, let's look at this graphically. So here we go. We're going to buy the call. Okay, so we buy the call. And here we go. Let's call this guy K. Okay, so the value to the call holder is 0 up until K. And then if the asset price is greater than K, then we buy at K and sell at S. So this is our V of our call holder. And what we do, we have to, for the profit, what do we need to do? We need to take off the call premium. Here. And so this is the profit to the call holder. Okay. Now, when we buy a put, so this is the call holder. Let's just write call holder here. Now let's look at the put holder here. And we're going to come along. Good. We're going to come along like this. Now, the value to the put holder is higher before K, and then it goes down to 0 at K. Okay. Then it goes along at 0. So this is the value this is the put holder, value to the put holder. And let's look at the profit to the put holder. The profit to the put holder, we have to pay the put premium. So here is the pi for the put holder. And this is OP. Okay, that's the premium of that. Now, let's look at the combination. Let's see. Let's look at the combination. Okay. Let's come across here with our S. Okay, and we're coming down to our K here. Okay, now let's see what happens. For the call holder, the value is 0 up until K. But for the put holder, the value is starts off at K and goes to 0. So the value here will start off at K and go to 0 here. And now what happens? Now the value to the call holder is increasing at 45 degrees, but the put holder is at 0. So we get this triangular thing here. And the profit, now let's look at the profit here. Here we have to go, because we have to pay for both these, the premium for both the call and the put. So we could put this here as OC plus OP. Okay, and so this is the value. And this is the profit for the combination. So what you can see is that if you vary from the strike price here, then your value will always be greater than or equal to 0 here. In fact, it is always greater than or equal to 0. But the further away you are from the strike price, either on the negative side or the positive side, the more you make, the higher the value and the higher the profit. Now, of course, you have to get outside this region here. This would be K plus and minus OC plus OP before you're making any profit. But this is a good strategy when you think something important is going to come up that's going to drastically affect the price of the asset. Okay, now let's see what else we have. Well, why don't we write down that let's write down what we have here. Now here, the combination loss is bounded by OC plus OP. And typically, option premiums are a small percentage of the asset's price. So here, for a small percentage of the asset's price, you stand a chance to make a lot, especially if the asset increases in value substantially. Okay. The gain is unbounded if the asset price increases if the asset price increases. Okay. Now, of course, we don't expect that asset price to increase to infinity, but it's potentially unbounded here. Now, let's look at some other things and see what we have. Should be able to go over a couple other things. Oh, here's a complicated one, and it's in our textbook. There is a complicated combination. It's in our textbook. It's called a butterfly spread. Okay. And this, we can find this as figure 12.4, page 325. Okay. And here, we're going to do something that looks strange. We're going to buy 2 calls. So we're going to hold these 2 calls, and one with strike price K1, and one with strike price K3. Okay. Then we're going to sell 2 calls. Okay, so here we're buying and selling calls, and 2, both with strike price K2. K2. Okay, where we have that K1 is strictly less than K2, and that is strictly less than K3. Okay, so that's the relationship between these prices, the strike prices. And we'll see, it's called a butterfly spread because when you look at it graphically, it resembles a butterfly. Okay, but don't tell that to the butterflies. Okay, what do we got here? This is a complicated one. And this is used when we think that this is used when you think that the asset's price close to expiration will be close to our K2, our middle price here. So we're hoping that the price settles near K2. Okay, so let's look at this graphically. And this is a little tricky. Okay. Now, so if you're a call holder at K1, let's see what happens here. Let's go here. Let's not make this too big. If you're a call holder at K1, let's put you here. Remember, K1 is the smallest. You go like this. And this is the V for the call holder K1. And this is going to be the option price for the call. We'll put it 1 and understand that that's K1. Okay. Now, since we're a call holder here, that we purchased this call, then it gives us a right to buy at K1. So the smaller the K1, then the higher that premium will be, because it gives us a right to purchase in the future at a small price. Now, we also hold a call at K3. Let's do this here. We also hold a call at K3. And so let's K3 be over here, because K3 is greater than K1. It's much greater because it's greater than K2 too. So go along here, and we go up at 45 degrees. And so this is V call holder 3. Okay. And then since that price is very high, we have a little bit smaller option premium for that. Now, the way I drew it doesn't look that much smaller. But you know, O OC3. OC3 is going to be definitely, is going to be less there. Okay, now what about writing two calls at K2? Okay. What do we call this? Call at K1. This is a call at K3. And this is, these are hold. This is a hold. Now, we're going to write two calls at K2. Let's see what we got here. Now remember, K2 is in between K1 and K3. Okay, so we're going to get something that looks like the following. We're going to get 2. Let's go 0 here. Let's have this be K2. K2 is between K1 and K3 here. And then we're going to go down here. Not at 45 degrees, because we have 2 of these guys now. And this is 2, O, K2. Okay. So this is write two calls at K2. So let's make sure we say that K2 is there. So we're going to have to pay twice the premium here. Okay, now let's look at the combination. I think we can get that. Oh boy. I think we're going to have to do that combination tomorrow. Okay, I hope everybody did well on the test. We'll grade them as soon as we get everybody. And I hope that there was one group that somehow the proctor didn't have the test. I hope they got that straightened up. And they can, I already wrote to them, they can take the test when they do get everything in order. Okay, thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow.